Sports.org. This is Extra Innings with Pledger.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me, however you may be joining, whether that is on 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you're watching via YouTube, that's right, we stream all of our shows live on YouTube. Just search at SA Sports Star. Go ahead, subscribe, like. You can comment along with the show there, whether it's the Morning Huddle from 6 to 10, the Blitz from 2 to 6, or right here on Extra Innings from 6 to 7. What's going on, guys? Welcome into the show. Lots to get into today. The latest on Mike McCarthy and how the Cowboys are handling this situation with him not getting permission, or at least their permissions just kind of being ignored, that the Bears have requested, and what we saw from the San Antonio Spurs last night. And we'll start there because it was not great. It was great for 3 quarters, but the fourth quarter, once again, the wheels fall off for the San Antonio Spurs against a team that they should have just thumped thoroughly and were thumping thoroughly for 3 quarters. But there is a disconnect in this team, and maybe part of it is the way it's constructed. Earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and AJ Hoffman, they were talking about what the Spurs may actually need to get this thing ready for a playoff push.
Why can't the Spurs go get Cam Johnson? As we talk about guys who
a
can
lot
shoot.
of guys are chasing Cam Johnson. No, that's the body type that I'm chasing, though. I would actually take. I heard, for me, the ideal candidate, if we're looking for the big to fix, and there's a lot of ways to fix this defense, but for me, Jalen Duren fits that build. I want an athlete. I want someone that's thick enough that can withstand 5 fouls, that can give 5 fouls, a protector. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But that won't fix what you don't like.
I also mentioned maybe bringing back Jakob as a.
I don't think Jakob is the answer. And I love him. And he's everything that Zach Collins isn't. He does the things that Zach should be doing. And even when we had that, we didn't have Wemby, of course, and he would play a little bit of a better hub to the spoke kind of post. I just don't know. He's a little soft for my taste right now. I want somebody to kind of be the first guy to come and help Wemby up. The guy to stare down the dude that fouls hard. That kind of guy. And that's not Jakob's game.
Prince SA says the Spurs are letting Wemby dictate his preferred style, LeBron-esque power, when in fact he needs to play a style that maximizes the Spurs' success. Stop deferring to him and they'll start winning more. Dear Wemby, get your 7'5" rump in the paint, start dunking, shooting 10-footers every game.
Get back to 1989, Victor.
This is me if I were coaching the Spurs. That's exactly what I would say. But Rob's right. The NBA has changed, but it's just like,
it sucks.
It does,
it
man.
Sucks.
Like, because I know he would dominate.
Mm-hmm.
I said this during the break. He would dominate doing the things that Giannis does. If he just said, my game is going to be, and I know that he's got way more skill in his bag than Giannis does. And and it's nice to have that. But keep it in your bag most of the time and just go dunk on fools all the time. And it's like life would be so much easier.
The fact of the game is what Wemby is growing into will be probably as the sum of its parts better than the old school big. But it's so difficult to watch Victor and not go, anybody who watched Kareem at his height, anybody who remembers what Kareem was, not Shaq. Shaq dominated in a different way. But what Kareem was literally unstoppable, the skyhook or whatever move Wemby would have decided to go to would have been 35 a night, but it would have been on 17 shots instead of 25 shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those 17 would have involved a fair amount of 3-point plays, but it would have been because he got fouled. The outcome at the end, we hope, is more than what Kareem was, but think about what Kareem was. So we're going down the same highway, and it's going to be hard for us to just get used to watching Wemby bring the ball up and take a three in a fast break. It just doesn't register. It doesn't feel right. It's also taking jobs away from regular-sized human beings like us.
Yeah.
You know, as a average-sized human who aspired to play higher-end basketball, last thing I want to see is a 7'5" dude do exactly what I can do.
Yeah. In hindsight, God, imagine if instead of using the Dillingham pick or trading the Dillingham pick, they'd taken Yves Missi. Like,
well, I mean,
but now it's again in hindsight. I said at the time, I love what he does, but I didn't want another guy who's brand new to basketball. I didn't want another kid, and he's essentially like another baby giraffe. He's just gotten better faster than I ever thought he could have.
And again, he's in a situation in the modern league. There's not a lot of guys that play a lot of really stout post defense and really rugged kind of in the paint kind of old school basketball. And if you're good at it and stay out of foul trouble and don't turn the ball over, you're going to get minutes. And Eves is doing that. Will he be able to? Is he going to be a superstar in the league?
No. But I don't want a superstar. I just
But
want a dude to do big man things.
That's the kind of guy that the Spurs, I do think, need.
I don't know if the Spurs are buyers at the deadline or not. I don't know. They haven't made it clear. I don't know that I want the Spurs to be buyers at the deadline. But if Cam Johnson can be had for one of the several first round picks and Keldon, then that's like the easiest decision ever.
Do you wonder, because there's not Pop, and I don't know this, and they tell us that Pop's in constant contact and that, you know, he's played as big a role except for in game. I don't know how much of that is true, but because we're going through this with Mitch, do you think it's altered or delayed the developmental plans? Do you think we've changed anything?
Well, at first I thought it was a good thing because remember we saw a bunch of Steph Castle early and it was like Pop would have never given him this many minutes. And now his minutes have been pulled back. You told me something before the show even started that Castle leads the league for rookies and free throws attempted and made, which I'd love to see more. And what it tells me is he gets to the basket, he's aggressive, and he's literally like the only guy on this team who has that mindset. Like the rest of the team is all about either really, I shouldn't say either. They're all about finding open threes. Like
it is.
But Castle's the one dude who's like willing to attack the basket. I love that about him. His minutes have gone down, and part of it is he tries to shoot more than he should too. I wish he wouldn't shoot at all. I wish he would only be a layup guy. But again, that's the modern NBA, and I'm like apparently a dinosaur who like wants guys to do what they're good at instead of what they want to be good at. But I do think that it's probably stunted the way that the team should work around Wemby, but I don't think it stunted Wemby personally.
I don't think so. I agree with that. What are your Jeremy Sohan is such a polarizing figure. My son just texted me, Jack, who's my resident basketball insider. And he said right now I would trade Jeremy over Keldon.
I don't care for either of them. I don't. They're both movable parts.
They are. The one reason that I disagree with Jack with Sohan is the kind of guy that great teams have, but good teams can't afford.
So to me, Sohan is like a poor man's version of Harrison Barnes, and obviously Harrison Barnes is kind of aging out of being, you know, a real factor anymore. But he's the reason why I would say I would rather get rid of Keldon than Sohan is because this team is so bereft of guys who are willing to be like to not take shots.
That's what I'm saying. Like, great teams have those guys. Good teams can't afford them because you need so much to be a good team. And one of them is
he can be good without scoring points.
Well, see, yeah, but when he's out there, let's not kid ourselves. It's 4-on-5 with offense. They're going to
Yes.
leave him to take every open three. He can stand out there all day, and no one's going to give a damn.
It's very Draymond. No, but he's like a broke ass Draymond.
And-
No, actually, he's like Draymond now. But like he's a broke version of when Draymond was great.
But what he does do matters. I mean, he will make that next pass.
Yes.
He will get on the ground, and he will be the fly in the ointment. He will be the nuisance, and every team needs that.
I think I'd rather have that too.
Can the Spurs afford that right now?
Keldon is just he's a guy that you can if you go through 100 bananas at the grocery store, he's just a banana.
But what if
he's
I told
he's
you
just any old banana?
what-
There's
You're
nothing
right,
unique
on the court, and
nothing
there's
special.
but he does battle, and he is an NBA type. But what if his value and I do believe some of this to be true, that Keldon's value is as much in the locker room and on the plane and in practice and everything else as it is on the court, that he is the thermostat for the team.
Is he that now that Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes are here?
Well, no, but these are kind of guys that don't even have a lease. You know what I
You're
mean?
right.
That are
I don't
staying
know-
in
I don't-
hotels.
yeah, I don't know how long those guys are here for. You're right.
So I don't know.
But we agree that Keldon is not here when Spurs reach their final form. right?
Probably not.
When
At
they-
least not in the form that he is now. He's a bit player in a bigger role, in a different role.
But
yeah.
if you can get if that's the name that it takes to get someone like Cam Johnson, and I know it's just like fantasy football, you value your guys more than anyone else does. Spurs fans value Keldon Johnson more than the rest of the league values Keldon Johnson. If you can use him to get Cam Johnson,
or a player of that type. But now Cam's got
that's
his
like
own issues. And he's looking at his third, fourth team.
Sure.
There's some
but,
things that.
But you know what? Cam's having the best season of his career,
Mhm.
and he shoots 40% from three. And if this team is going to say, "Hey, we're going to be chuckers," give me at least a guy who can chuck.
What do we got? 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Two and a half
think
weeks?
so, yeah.
Up until a week ago, I would have been perfectly fine with just carrying on with this, and let's just see how this perks out, and we'll see what free agency looks like and all that. I do think that what we've seen given the last couple of days, this isn't about playoff run. This isn't about playoff wins. This is about not developing bad habits. And right now, we have a habit of playing a hell of a game, but forgetting how we did it late and not being able to fix it. And maybe a dude with a little bit more pepper, a little bit more want to, and just maybe a change of scenery will kind of shake this team up, because this is not where we thought we would be right now. Keep in mind, we're about to hit the road for a month.
Yeah. And that game last night, as you say, you're about to be in full road mode. You're going to the Bucks next. That game last night, and really the Nuggets game they lost in overtime, those are games that are wins until you don't let them be a win. And the Spurs can't afford to have those kind of games. You can't afford to give away games.
Because now we've aged out of, let's see if we're playing. We know when fully functioning, this is a 6 seed. They're capable of playing that kind of basketball on a fairly regular basis. And we've seen it over the last week, but for about 12 minutes, all of them being the last few of the game.
I want you to think about this. The last time the Spurs really took an ass whooping what's the date here? It was against the Timberwolves, December 15th.
Almost a month.
They got thumped by the T-Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, their losses, lost by 5 to the Sixers. And again, that's a game that they had a lead with 40 seconds left.
And Embiid was not even playing.
Yep. Lost by 3 at the Knicks. Lost by 2 at Minnesota. The overtime loss to the Nuggets. And the loss last night that should never have been a loss.
And all of them, in every one of those games, they've played well. In every one of them, they had more than a quarter of very good basketball.
Those are coin flip losses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, early in the season, remember they went on a run where it was like the Lakers, Suns, Bulls, and Kings all beat them by 30. They were getting their ass beat. So there's improvements. When they lose, they're losing coin flips. I don't want them to lose all these coin flips.
That's part of you're growing your team for the year. You're growing players for their career, and you're growing a franchise. And sometimes those circles don't interact. You're getting better, but you're losing games. You're winning games, but you're not getting better. Right now, we've gotten better, but we're losing games. And the next step in growth is we got to start winning some of those, especially the home ones.
Yeah.
A couple of things in there that I agree with. Trading for Cam Johnson would be massive. This team needs floor spacing, and part of it is I think The starting lineup needs to be retweaked in terms of Jeremy Sohan and Devin Vassell. I think the ideal starting lineup they have was Wemby, Harrison Barnes, Champagnie, Castle, and CP3. And I think a player like Cam Johnson, who shoots 40% from three, would be a much needed asset on a team that lacks real sharpshooters from deep. As it pertains to what it would cost, if you could get it done for a Keldon or a Sohan and a first, so be it. I'd be okay with that. Or if it's just picks that they want in return, you gotta find a way to increase the efficiency from behind the arc for this team, because that is one of the reasons that they have been letting these late games slip away. And I think what's getting lost with how well they've been playing of late is them losing these close games. Well, they've been playing better. They have gotten better. And I think that's getting lost in the grand scheme of things, because this is a team that is still coming together. And I hear the frustration in Chris Paul's voice, and I hear them talking about trying to find a way to win. And to me, they're getting closer. There just need to be some tweaks along the way. And I think probably roster tweaks and lineup tweaks are part of those that need to happen here in the next month as we close in on the trade deadline. Speaking of the Spurs, them faltering late, what did the Spurs have to say about it? Well, the Blitz reacted to what the players had to say following that loss. And was head coach Mitch Johnson thrown under the bus by some of those comments? We'll discuss next, right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play, up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
George Gets Justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George Gets Justice. GetGeorge.com.
Let's get wild.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. You can follow me on X, on Instagram at I Am Pleasure. Follow the station at SA Sports Star for all of the latest. Couple of things it's been going off in the comment section on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Justin Verlander signing with the new San Francisco Giants on a 1-year deal pending a physical. He is going into his 20th season. He is 42 years of age and 38 wins shy of 300 wins. Another loss for the Astros in free agency, but I understand with the way that he pitched at the end of last year, coming off that injury, it may have been time to move on from him. You've got Hunter Brown, you've got Framber, you've got Ronel Blanco. Things are still pretty good in the pitching staff for the Houston Astros. You had a ton of pitchers, Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers, all out with blown elbows last year. So hopefully you get some of those back and can add some more depth to that starting rotation. Another thing, TGL is tonight. I'm very intrigued by the TGL. The TGL is going to be insanely interesting to me to see how that happens. If you don't know what the TGL is, that's that Tiger Woods Golf League thing where they're playing off real surfaces but hitting into a giant screen at SoFi Stadium. So it's almost like simulator golf. And the New York Golf Club takes on the Bay Golf Club. And I'm very, very intrigued as to what this is going to look like when it's all said and done. The first match is tonight. It is going to be on ESPN at 8:30. So in case you'd forgotten about it, because I had, that's going to be intriguing to me just to kind of watch and see how that kind of plays out. So the Spurs, though, they faltered last night late, and the players and Mitch Johnson reacting after the game. It was interesting, some of the comments that were made, and the Blitz kind of broke it down. And Wemby is English isn't his first language, but he definitely speaks it well enough to where you wonder when he says certain things if there was intent behind what he said. Here is Jason and Joe talking about the Spurs faltering again late in the game to the Bulls and the players' reactions.
Time to eat crow. We both said yesterday, winnable, easy game for the San Antonio Spurs. And what did they do? They dominated for 3 quarters and then completely wet the bed and lost to the Chicago Bulls.
Second game in a row, they haven't played well in the fourth quarter. And Wemby included, by the way. And I know Wemby's stat line was fantastic, but in the fourth quarter, it was non-existent. So I don't know what's going on with this team. But that fourth quarter was just a disaster.
It was. Fourth quarter, when you look at what the Spurs did not do, one, they were outscored 32-15. Zach LaVine got hot, but the Spurs were ice cold. Chris Paul, he played great in the fourth quarter, and I was all ready to tweet, man, that's the Chris Paul effect. That they were going to win that game because Chris Paul was going to will them to that win. And you could tell, and what I appreciate about what I'm hearing out of that Spurs locker room now after losses like this is frustration.
Sooner or later, we're going to get tired of it. You know what I mean? So just down the stretch again, I got to go back and look at it and figure out what I could have done better. Probably got us better shots. But it's tough.
But he sounds frustrated as hell.
He's frustrated.
Chris Paul, he is. Look, I mean, it's 2 games in a row. The fourth quarter's been bad, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening in that fourth quarter. And I'm like you. I'm sick and tired of hearing this. We got to learn how to win games.
Thankfully we didn't really hear that last night. You heard frustration again, Chris Paul. We got to figure out how to win these kind of games.
Yeah, we just got to figure out how to win these games because we work too hard, play too hard, and give ourselves an opportunity night in and night out that we got to find a way to win these games.
All right, so you hear that. Find a way to win these games from Chris Paul, the veteran of the group, the coach on the floor, if you will. Then you look at the young superstar in Wemby, and you talk about trying to figure out ways to win. Listen carefully to what Wemby says here, and let's try to interpret what he actually means.
I think teams adapt during the game, and maybe we don't. We don't, and that's enough. And but it's definitely something I'm going to work on. Predicting the adjustments of the defense, because right now, I mean, for sure we need to have more than one plan. They're going to have more than one.
Interesting. And I don't know how you take that, Jason, but I take it as that's a shot at the head coach.
That's a shot at the head coach. We've got one plan and we don't adapt.
Yes.
I mean, and again, Wemby is smart enough and well-spoken enough that I can't say that, well, did he really mean it that way? I mean, and you can tell that guy is getting frustrated. That guy was frustrated last night and probably frustrated with his fourth quarter play where he was 0 for 4. And he got posterized in that game. But at the same time, you need more than one plan. You've got to adapt. It seems like, all right, this is what we do. Yeah, it didn't work. This is what we do. I mean, you look at what they're doing. They've got more than one plan. We don't. Is that a shot at the coaching staff? And whether it's the head coach or the staff, this is the Spurs plan. And if it's not working, we don't have anything else we can go to.
That's exactly what it sounded like he said right there. We've got one plan. And that one plan, if it's not working, we got nowhere else to go. That's coaching.
It's coaching, or is it because that's what the players can do? Because he talked about this is the level of maturity that this team has right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very frustrating. I mean, for sure we should right now we should have more wins, but we don't deserve more wins, because this is where we're at right now, or this is our level, our maturity, and we need to. And this one is a tough one for sure, but apparently we need those to grow. And yeah, we got to do something. There's gonna be close games. There's gonna be games where we're up. I'm not worried about when we're down, but there's gonna be games when we're up and we got to keep a lead. In the NBA, it's hard, and games are gonna be close and that we need to win.
Yeah, but the problem is, Wemby, the game wasn't close.
No.
You guys dominated the Bulls for 3 quarters. You had a 19-point lead at one time. You had a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you blew it. And I mean, that's just – I don't care what level of maturity you are. I don't care. You're an NBA basketball player. You don't blow 15-point leads to the Chicago Bulls.
You don't blow them, period. I mean, you just look at that. And, again, if that were a one-off, all right, but it's not. And again, they went 1-3 on a 4-game road trip where they should have been 3-1, maybe even 4-0. This trip started off looking like, all right, you're going to get one in Chicago. And the way they played early, it was like, man, this is incredible, man. This is what we want to see. This is them. They took that Denver loss and they've turned it around, and they did that for 3 quarters.
Yep.
Not before they end up with the loss. You hear little key words from Wemby, like apparently we're supposed to go through this, because sounds like he's tired of hearing that kind of crap from the coaches.
Well, so am
you
I.
know, well, I know, but I mean, Wemby can do something about it on the floor, you would think. Then you get Mitch Johnson talking about attention to detail.
I think the attention to detail and respect for some of the little things that went into what we got the lead wavered, and then we had a fight on our hands. And so you have to fight the human nature of being complacent or happy with yourselves when things are going well in the middle of a game. And you felt the game flip. It flipped. And I think that lack of respect at times for some of the details played a part.
Well, so while Wemby's calling out the coaching staff, it sounded like Mitch Johnson's calling out the players, saying they've got to play hard regardless of the score, and they just simply coasted in the fourth quarter. That's how I translate what he just said.
To me, that's coaching. Attention to detail, that's coaching. And coaching them before the game, during the game, and after the game. When you hear a coach talking about attention to detail and respect for the game, and you got Wemby talking about maturity and only having one plan, the whole group, coaches, players, everybody's involved in there, and you got CP3 that just is about as frustrated as I've heard him as a San Antonio Spur. And, maybe a loss like that, would you be at all surprised if you heard about a team meeting before their game against Milwaukee? I mean, but something needs to change. This team is better than what their record is showing, yet they're not. They feel like they should be further along than they are.
Well, they should be. They absolutely should be. I mean, at some point in time, I know to skip steps. At some point in time, some of these players have been on this team for a while, right? I mean, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. I mean, at some point in time, what's the learning curve for this basketball team? And that's what's so frustrating. And look, I get it. What are they, 500 right now? 18-18, which is it's fine. And it's great. And they're playing a very tough Western Conference. But when you've got a team that blew a lead to Denver at home, and then you blow a lead in Chicago, that can't happen. This team should be much further along than it is. And I blame everybody. And I know Wemby had a great stat line, but you can't disappear if you're the superstar in the fourth quarter. And he's done that 2 games in a row now.
And that's true. If Victor Wembanyama is the center point, the focal point, the face, what this franchise is building itself around, he does have to be able to take over those games late in some way, shape, or fashion, whether it's offensively, distributing the basketball, however it may be. And 2 games in a row in the fourth quarter, Victor Wembanyama has not done what is needed to quell those runs or put these games out of reach when teams make a run. And part of that's also on coaching. They said, and you heard it, they don't adapt. They don't have a change of game plan. And maybe the part of that's on first-time head coach Mitch Johnson, who is serving in the interim in place of Greg Popovich. It's going to be very interesting to see how they bounce back tomorrow night against the Bucks in Milwaukee, and they will be without Jeremy Sohan for that game, who is dealing with back tightness. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. The Cowboys' handling of the Mike McCarthy situation. My goodness, this has been disastrous, to say the least. We'll explain coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pledge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up.
And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Find your purpose. Find your why. At the Y, you'll find more than just a place to work out. With opportunities to connect with neighbors and give back to your community, you'll also discover a greater sense of purpose. Join the Y January 6th through the 11th for Wellness Week at any Greater San Antonio YMCA location. Learn more at ymcasatx.org.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know, our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line, golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Goldfinger123 wondering, who do I think the Spurs trade for? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they don't just see what this team is about and make their moves in the offseason instead of at the trade deadline. They have been very cautious with their treasure trove of draft picks and have been careful about what they use them on. I would like a Cam Johnson. De'Aaron Fox would be awesome. But De'Aaron Fox creates a whole new set of problems. When you have a Steph Castle and you have a Trey Jones and you have a Chris Paul, where's the point guard? You know, if you're trading for an all NBA type player at point guard, he's obviously going to play. You brought in Chris Paul to lead this team. There's got to be some rubbish. So is Steph Castle a part of that trade to end up bringing in a De'Aaron Fox? Because you'll have a gluttony of point guards at that point in time. Lauri Markkanen in the offseason is something that they could reevaluate because he signed just after his deal, his extension, after the 6th, so he can't be traded until the 7th. The trade deadline is on the 6th of February, which means he can't be moved officially this offseason until after this offseason when the season ends. So maybe you could then make that Lauri Markkanen move to where you add size to the front line with a 7-footer who is also athletic, just like Victor Wembanyama, and can spread the floor the same way. That would be, to me, an ideal pairing in that front court. And then you've got Steph Castle. You re-sign again Chris Paul if he wants to play another year, and let him continue to develop Steph Castle into your point guard of the future. But that's how I would do things if I was running the San Antonio Spurs. They may get lucky in the draft, though, and then maybe you get a Cooper Flagg. We don't know, but it'll be interesting to figure it out. One thing we also don't know is what the future of Mike McCarthy is, because he is being asked to be interviewed for other places, but he's not getting the opportunity to do that, at least not as of yet. And the Morning Huddle, AJ and Rob, were talking about the Cowboys and their handling of Mike McCarthy, despite not really having an answer of what his future is in Dallas either.
The Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock. Not just with their draft situation, but with they've got, I mean, this is the most important season or most important decision of the offseason, because this is the only decision this offseason that'll be made that's going to be last you multiple years.
Yeah, but you remember, I forget the scene in the movie. A guy standing at the stall in a bathroom, and I guess he's in basic training, and the TI's like, any more than 2 shakes, you're playing with yourself. Jerry's playing with himself. Dude, what exactly are you waiting on? What is there some kind of extenuating circumstance? Are you waiting on a phone call? Why are you doing this to McCarthy? Why on earth would you do this? Because now we're getting to playing with yourself. There's no need to wait. Is there? What is he balancing? What is he deciding on whether McCarthy is going to stay or go? He knew a month ago. He knew last week. He knows right now.
Could it be the options?
What options? There's no new options. Does he think there's a coach out there that might break free and get fired? No.
But a guy like Brian Flores, if you don't,
well, then fire McCarthy.
I mean, you don't have to fire
him.
Well,
just fix the glitch or let him know. Look, dude, you're not coming back. The right thing to do, the business professional thing to do, was the moment McCarthy waved goodbye to his players, the moment they got in the car, he sat down with his owner and found his own fate right then. Just like the players were finding out on their exit interviews. I guarantee you he told some of those players, guess what? You're not going to be a Cowboy next year. Fare thee well.
This is very much like, and now if Mike McCarthy comes back, it's uncomfortable at best.
No, this is getting fired and hired is part of this business. And they walk in the day after he says he's going to stay and they just go to work.
You think?
Yeah, this is not, I can't believe you let me twist in the wind. It's just part of the gig.
This feels like the girl who's expecting an engagement ring and the guy has like a romantic date plan and she's like, finally, this is it. And then doesn't get the ring and she's frustrated. And then he's frustrated because she's frustrated because now she's trying to put pressure on him. And it's like now eventually Jerry might go, all right, we want you. And now it just feels like forced.
Fine.
Let's just get married then. So if that's what you want, let's just do it.
For the life of me, this is the one thing about Jerry I don't get. I get the meddling. I get the playing the owner. I get, handcuffing and chopping your coach off at the knees. I get overruling your general manager because it's your damn team. I don't get this part of his business acumen. I don't get the way that he negotiates. I don't get the way that he handles his players when money is involved. I don't get it. Because to him, a delay is a win no matter what. No matter the situation, to him, if he can put it off another day, it's a win. And it seems like even when it's his absolute detriment, he would much rather have to make the decision tomorrow than today. And if I don't have to make it today, I ain't.
Well, he ain't got to make it today.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't have to make any kind of damn decision. But that's my problem. Dude, what are you waiting on? What can possibly be the delay here? It ain't Brian Flores. It ain't Vrabel. It ain't somebody coaching.
But that's the thing. Whoever it is, the longer you drag out this McCarthy thing, the more likely that guy gets snatched up.
And you look the worst for it all.
Imagine if it is Vrabel. Like, okay, well, now he's interviewed with the Jets. He's interviewed with the Patriots. And now I don't think it is Vrabel. But
I don't think so.
But I'm saying if it was, like, now you're behind everybody. It's bleep or get off the pot is what it is. Like,
I've never known anybody that was this absolute successful, that is so decision averse. Most guys like this
let's wait
make a
until
decision
game day.
too fast.
Let's wait till game day to pay Dak.
Literally an hour before the season begins, you decide to give him the biggest quarterback contract this side of Deshaun Watson. Seriously, you waited until then?
But the difference with that is he knew that Dak was playing for him this year no matter what. Now there was nothing to lose. Now you've got something to lose. Like if you decide that McCarthy's not your guy, you're missing out on opportunities. And if he is your guy, don't leave him twisting. Let's just
give him
do
some
it,
flowers
man.
and love on him. You're now. I just don't get this, because now you want to go, just fire him already.
I mean, it is Jerry Jones, and he does things his way, and it usually is up to the last second. Gary called into Extra Innings with Pleasure. Gary, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in here. I'm doing quite well. You know, but like you all said, that's Jerry's style. He loves to be in power.
He does love to wait.
He loves to make you wait. He's already told Mike, I'm probably going to re-sign you, but I just want to take a little bit of time and see what else is going on out there. And all of these guys that are potentially coming out have all came from teams where they lost. I mean, what do you want Mike Vrabel for? He did not do it last year at Tennessee. Was not great. The ex-Commanders coach wasn't great. You have a bunch of losers out there. So if you have to choose between a bunch of losers and a guy who had one losing year, but before that he was winning 12 and 12 and 12 and 13 and all that, he's probably going to sign Mike. It makes only sense to re-sign the guy, whether we like him or not. I think I would get another OC, though, because his play calling at times really sucks.
Yeah.
Really sucks.
Well, and you've heard me say this before. When he got rid of Kellen Moore because they wanted to run the damn ball, that doesn't align with any stop he's ever made anywhere as a play caller. He is not a run the damn ball type of play caller. He'd rather chuck it all over the yard. And the fact of the matter was, Kellen Moore, in both of his seasons as the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, was top 10 in running. And by the way, he is doing it again in Philadelphia. You got to have a running game to be able to run it. But, and just a little, I thank Jacob Barrick for bringing this up both on YouTube and in Twitter. Adam Schefter is reporting the Cowboys have denied permission to the Chicago Bears to interview Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, they won't have first choice to say no. But I will tell you this, if they don't sign Mike McCarthy, I'm going out on a limb right now, and I'm going to say they are going to sign Kellen Moore.
Yep, I've been saying it.
It's going to be Kellen Moore.
100%. Appreciate the phone call, Gary.
All right. Okay, bye.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think Kellen Moore's the guy because he fits kind of the mold in terms of Jason Garrett. Played for the Cowboys, was a backup quarterback, and then became part of the coaching staff, worked his way up from quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator, and now to be able to say you groomed a guy, let him go spread his wings elsewhere and are bringing him home, that feels like a Jerry thing if you're moving on from Mike McCarthy. But them denying the Bears the chance to talk to him makes me think that they're actually going to bring him back. We'll discuss more of this on the other side. What do you think about the Cowboys telling the Bears no and what it possibly means for the future of Mike McCarthy in Dallas? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this, if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do do vary.
James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star here. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? The playoffs are here and time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Just select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Texas, Missouri, California, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
Joel, I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da! It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes stay in tip-top shape. Call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, TACLA 141074E.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Once again, in case you missed it, thanks to Jacob Eric for pointing this out to me, but during the show, the Chicago Bears were denied permission by the Dallas Cowboys to interview head coach Mike McCarthy, who does not have a new contract at this point. But what does that mean to you? To me, it means they're likely going to try to bring him back in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's a 3-year deal, and that would be my guess, that Mike probably wants 4 or 5, Jerry probably wants 1 or 2, and they meet in the middle at a 3-year deal with McCarthy, which is fine because that probably marries up with Dak Prescott's contract currently in terms of the guaranteed money that they're able to get in and out of, and when they could potentially find a new quarterback or draft a quarterback to groom behind him and then have him take over. So it would be on that timeline, I would think. I got a text from the Wookiee, one of the listeners, Cowboys fan, says, if my damn Cowboys keep Mike, when people ask me how I feel about the Super Bowl chances, we going to play that Puffy song. We ain't going nowhere. Look, I think McCarthy's the perfect head coach for Jerry Jones in terms of how he's able to handle him. And that's an important part of this job with the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy can coexist with Jerry Jones and the shenanigans and everything that goes on around the team. I'm not sure bigger names like Vrabel or even newer names like a Ben Johnson could. Kellen Moore could because he's been in the building and knows how it operates around here. And I think he's safe with dealing with that sort of thing. It's going to be very interesting tomorrow. Be sure to tune in tomorrow to hear the latest from Rob and AJ starting at 6, then Rich Eisen at noon to 2, and then, of course, the Blitz with Jason and Joe from 2 to 6. I appreciate y'all. As always, Happy New Year to everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night here on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. The clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up.
And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.